and look at that, 3 minutes early. So, welcome to, I got to start this here, your last day of work. Finding fulfillment and appreciation at your job. Nobody's getting fired. Not that Todd told me, but um, not right now anyway. So, we're going to be discussing everything about what it means to have a mindset and perspective to find fulfillment, happiness, joy, even love at work. Not the kind of romantic love, but just love in your heart for what you do and embodying that while you're at work. So my name is Joe Hehn. I'm a friend of Todd's, and I actually was a perio lace consultant for a long time, and that's how we crossed paths. And over time, for a long time, I was working on my own kind of personal growth and kind of suffered something pretty hard, and then traveled the world for many, many, many years, and just kind of gobbling up all the different kind of culture and faith and religions as I traveled the world, trying to help elevate my mindset. And I started discovering a lot of really cool stuff, and I started healing and seeing that my perspective was tethered to my well-being, my happiness, and I started training my mind, my thoughts, my beliefs, my emotions even, so that I could feel empowered by them instead of feeling kind of imprisoned. And then I started doing that with other people. And I teach people one-on-one or in group settings like this, and just how to think differently, how to incorporate empowering beliefs to catch yourself when you don't have limiting beliefs, and to elevate your experience, whether it's at work or it's at home, in the bathroom, in the shower, while you're doing your hobbies. Anything you're doing is all tethered to your mindset and your thoughts. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So any questions real quick before we get started? If you guys do have questions, by the way, during this, just raise your hand. I probably won't be able to see you raise your hand, but just shout out, I got a question, and we'll get to it. Otherwise, we're going to have some time at the end. So any questions before we get started? Okay, crickets. Good stuff.
Darlene's maybe joining in a second, just so you
Okay.
know.
So I've got big, lofty goals, and my mission for our time together is help you find daily fulfillment and appreciation at work, help you be the best version of yourself, help you master compassion and patience with others. That's a good one, right? Like if you could master compassion and patience, that's a pretty big win. And to help you believe in yourself, your team, and your purpose. And then also how to help you not take your time for granted and make the most of it and equip you with the right tools to achieve everything and actually make it last, not just be like, hey, this was great for 45 minutes, but like let this pour into the weeks and months to come and answer all your questions and hopefully experience something empowering and profound. We like that ceiling fan, Darlene. Looks good.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. I'm just teasing. All right. Happy to have you. Okay. So, belief. I'm just going to move this little window over here. The thing always happens that you really believe in, and the belief in a thing makes it happen. Frank Lloyd Wright. So we have this cool experiment that they did in Harvard where they had one kind of milkshake, okay? And this milkshake was about 300 calories. But they had two groups of people, Group A and Group B. Group A, they told everybody that this milkshake looked like that green one and had all that healthy, awesome stuff in it. It was only 140 calories, no fat, no sugar. Group B, a whole big group of people, they told everybody there that this milkshake had 600 calories, lots of fat, lots of sugar, okay? And then they took some levels of their blood sugar and one of the enzymes for monitoring your hunger. It's ghrelin, and they took that before they told anybody about the milkshake. So they, for group A and B, kind of measured where they're at. Then they had these people drink the milkshake. Group A, they didn't have any spikes in their glucose. They didn't have any spikes in anything that notates that they had a really big kind of unhealthy milkshake like seen in B. In group B, they experienced all the spikes. Their blood sugar went up, everything. But both groups had exactly the same milkshake, but they just believed they had something different. I'm sure you guys have heard of the placebo effect. It's the same thing. What they're showing, what they proved at Harvard was it wasn't what they actually consumed, it's what they believed they were consuming that affected their body instantaneously. So the best diet is just to believe you're drinking green smoothies when you're having pizza. So that's the power of belief, though. It's tethered to what we believe about our reality, our environment, our workplace, and we can actually have the power to alter that reality, both in our body and externally. So the placebo effect, you guys have known about that. That affects between 30 and 60% of patients getting the same effects of the drug as if they were taking the drug, but they're just taking a water pill. So this is good for our bodies, it's kind of good to know, but what about our environment? How is it changing that? Well, there's this awesome experiment called the Masaru Emoto rice experiment. This Japanese pseudoscientist, he had 3 beakers of water and rice. And for 30 days, he poured his authentic emotion into each of the beakers, but the emotion was different. So for the first beaker, beaker one, he just expressed gratitude. He just literally said, like, I'm really grateful for you. So this little tiny Japanese scientist is just speaking to this little beaker of water and rice and expressing authentic gratitude. 30 days nonstop. Beaker B, he absolutely ignored. And Beaker C, he threw in a lot of toxic, kind of hateful emotion. I hate you. You're not good enough. 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, can you guys take a guess at what happened? Just with the emotion of the water and the rice. What do you think happened with the beaker that he was pouring the gratitude into?
Filled up.
And what's that?
I guessed it filled up.
Yeah, it actually flourished. It started fermenting and giving off an amazing aroma. It did very well. It thrived in its environment. The negative, the toxic one, started turning black. All the rice started turning black after 30 days. But you know which one was even worse? Was the one he ignored. It started rotting. So that emotion that he's pouring into, that conscious awareness, can affect the consciousness of water and rice, can affect the environment or reality of that experience. So, with that said, we have bad beliefs equal bad outcomes, good beliefs equal good outcomes. So, what is it that you believe about your life? I used to believe that I had to kind of escape, that I was married to this woman. We were together for about a year after our wedding, but 7 years leading up to that. And I believed that I wanted to kind of work hard, make money, and get away from everything. And then something really profound happened. She got cancer and we had a battle. Everything was kind of stricken from us at that point in time, like just torn away. I had to move in with my folks. She had about a dozen or so tumors that spread to her brain, and everything got real serious. And then the worst thing happened is I had to make the conscious decision to pull her off life support after things got real bad. 60 days in the hospital, probably a dozen ER visits, back and forth, living that really anxious life of being a caretaker and always fearing the worst thing. And the worst thing happened. And I quit my job. I worked at a really good corporation. We had a health and wellness business together. We dissolved. Everything was in storage. My life was kind of over as I saw it. And I started traveling the world, as I spoke about earlier. And what I was doing was trying to heal, trying to soul search, and kind of basically get myself into a space where I could kind of love some part of life because I was believing I was a victim. And so through my process, I started volunteering all over the world, South America, uh, Nepal, Tibet, China, just everywhere. And what I would do was I would also read all the books associated with like elevating your awareness, your spirit, your mental health. And I started making some really great changes. But it wasn't enough. I had to kind of like really make it not just this epic adventure, but a lifestyle. And I started really, really investing in my own mindful awareness and started teaching others. But what I believed was that I was a victim because everywhere I went after my wife passed away, life was without her. So I was only looking at life for what was missing in my life, not what I had. I had to train myself to take myself and swing to the opposite end of the pendulum and, like a pendulum, swing to the other side and say, I have to realize to embody gratitude for the time I had with her. And now this is a new season. I have to also be grateful for that and what I'm going to be able to do here. It took a long time and a lot of hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, as they say. But I changed my beliefs. And it's called attachment. It's the Buddhist principle that we are rooted in suffering because we're rooted in desire. That desire is the root of suffering. And I was desiring for my wife not to have passed away. And that's probably the most extreme kind of attachment, is for a loved one not to be gone. And it's justified. But what kind of attachment do we have every day of our life? But I changed my beliefs and I wanted to love again. I wanted to know what that would be like and what it meant to be a father. So I created this many years down the road. And now I'm blessed because I'm in a space where I can both be supremely grateful for the time I had with my late wife and supremely grateful for the time I have with my fiance and our son. But I know that I can positively influence my experience because I've done it. I was in the worst place possible, near making some very, very, very bad decisions. And from that place, I grew and healed and found what I was looking for: purpose and love, self love and fulfillment. But I see other people do this constantly wherever I go, is they're looking at what life is not. And a billionaire can look at all the money she doesn't have and always feel broke. It's not about what you don't have, it's about what you have. But our mind doesn't want us to perceive what we have. It wants us to perceive what we don't to make us feel like a victim. So we have to train ourselves to get out of that mindset. So the power of belief. I'm going to hold on one sec. I'm going to mute. I think. All right, I'll have to figure that out later. So, what do you believe about your job? Right? Beliefs are tethered to everything, and they actually determine so much of our experience. So, if we're going to our workplace and already starting ourselves off in the morning with, man, I have to go to work today. I'm going to have to work with this person. Oh my God, I got this patient scheduled. We're setting ourselves up for a not so great experience because we believe we're going to be a victim or we're going to have to suffer at work because of A, B, C, D, and E. But you can change your beliefs. So you got to ask yourself right now, when you think about your work and your job and what you believe about it and your time there, do those beliefs empower and inspire you? And if they don't, I guarantee you're looking at all the wrong things. And we're looking at all of the fault, all of the friction that when we come to life, to work, that we experience. And that's what we're going to retrain ourselves with today. Okay, the flow of beliefs. So we have something that we believe, right? And then what happens is naturally that thing that we believe, we have thoughts about it, okay? And then we experience emotions. So if there's a patient we all hate and people kind of know that she's just such a pain in the butt, we believe that that patient is a pain in the butt. And then we think about it and we start saying it to other people. And oh man, I got to deal with Nancy K today. Gosh, what a drag. She's just so toxic. She's such a bummer. And then when we're with her, we're looking for evidence of why she's toxic. We're not giving her a break. We're just trying to give the justification to match our beliefs. And then we're suffering emotions. So we're getting annoyed, we're getting frustrated, we're getting impatient or angry or short because, well, she is, a pain in the butt. And because I'm able to see that, I'm okay having these emotions. They're justified, but they're actually not because those emotions are tethered to you. We're not pouring that into her. So you can change what you believe, which will then change the thoughts, which will then change the emotion so that you could be with a pain in the butt patient and still just be riding your cool wave, through work of like, man, I'm just trying to do the best I can. I'm happy about my job. I'm having a great day. And you won't ever dip below your line of peace. So we can do that by changing our beliefs. So I'm going to move this. Why do you believe you go to work every day? Okay, so these are the core beliefs of why we're showing up right now to work. Why do you clock in there? Okay, because I would imagine that if any one of you won the lottery, I don't know that you'd show up to work tomorrow. And you may steal a few of your employees with you, right? So it's not just purpose and fulfillment. Because if you won the lottery, then you'd still come to work. It's because we want to maintain our lifestyle. We have mouths to feed, a home to keep, hobbies to enjoy, trips to take, exercises or experiences to relish, and bills to pay. But we want to maintain a kind of lifestyle and experience, but we also want to kind of prosper personally and professionally. And we're doing all that in the job that you have now is a really perfect fit for where you're at in life. Okay, so remember what I was talking about with that pain in the butt patient is that we're looking for the justification of what we believe. It's not only that our beliefs have the power to create our experience and affect our environment, but we're trained medically, physiology with our reticular activating system. It is a group of neurons in the back of our brain here at our spinal cord and the brainstem where it meets. And what it does, it acts as a filter. We go around and through our senses, what we see, taste, touch, hear, smell, we take in like gigabytes of information every single day. But what is allowed into our brain is only what is aligned with our beliefs. Like if you're considering buying a new Ford F-150, you need a new truck. When you're driving on the road, what do you constantly see? The Ford F-150s, because that's what you're looking for. But you don't see all the other cars. If we went on a road trip and I say, listen, for every F-150 you see, I'm going to give you $150, right? You'd be poking your head out of my sunroof looking for Ford 150s. If I then get to the place where we're at, I go, okay, I'm going to give you $1,500 for every Prius you saw. You'd be like, you piece of, you should have told me that before we left. I would have had a whole list of them, right? But because you were looking for the trucks, you found the trucks. What are you looking for when you go to work? Are you looking to be upset? Are you looking to be impatient? Are you looking to get frustrated or angry? Are you looking to find out when one of your colleagues missteps? Are you waiting for that? Or are we looking for something else? A lot of the times we're looking for fault and we're not looking for appreciation. So finding fault versus finding appreciation. It's a simple thing that we can ask ourselves every single morning by giving ourselves that intention of saying, I'm going to go into work and find appreciation. Because if you notice that you feel angry, annoyed, impatient, anybody get impatient at work? How about frustrated? How about darn, like right out angry or furious? You're just raging, right? That's on you. It's not the other person in the situation. You believe it is, but it's actually your attachment that this should be different than what it is. It's literally the same thing as me being insanely upset about my wife passing. She passed away. It was my attachment to saying, I don't, I don't accept this. I'm not surrendering to this truth, and I'm going to bear this anger, this rage, this anguish, because I'm not going to accept the reality. But when we find ourselves getting supremely impatient, angry, annoyed, it's actually our attachment to this situation. We wish it was different. So if we actually surrender to the situation and just try to walk ourselves mentally and emotionally into a place of peace, the situation is just going to be what it is. And we can find appreciation through that. I wonder if you guys believe me. Anybody with me here? Any questions so far? Anything? Okay, cool. So perspective is a choice. We just have to train ourselves what to look for, and then we will find it, just like that Ford F-150 thing. So we have to actively give ourselves a perspective that will help us feel empowered and inspired. Because none of us really, I didn't learn all this stuff in like grade school or high school, how to think. how to actually look at life with a goal just of perceiving, because I was taught to be super anxious and like stressed out because I was worried about my own identity and worried about the experience and worried about looking a fool. But that was what I learned, and all conditioning through social and family stuff. So, tools for appreciation. I'm going to equip you guys with stuff to give you so that when you show up to work every day, and you could use this outside of work too, we train our mind, our thoughts, our beliefs, our perspective to try to find something that makes us feel good. Whatever is at the line of peace emotionally, when we're at this line of peace and we go above that, we're getting joy, delight, pleasure, excitement, etc. That's a good day at work. But when we dip below and we feel negative emotions, depression, angst, grief, anxiety, stress, anger, etc., that's not a great day at work. We leave work and we're like, man, that was not a good day at work. So we have to give ourselves the tools to find the good stuff and to feel good. So the first thing, this is, I'm sure some of you have heard of this, a gratitude practice. Okay. And what we're doing is in the morning, especially if you're kind of in a little bit of a rut, but this just plays every day. Do this. Oprah does this. So if Oprah has time to do this, you guys have time to do this. Okay. So what it is that you're going to give yourself an assignment to look for 10 things that make you feel at peace or better. Gratitude, joy, excitement, happiness, laughter, pleasure, delight. 10 experiences. It's going to absolutely transcend where you are and how you feel at work or in your home life. Okay, so you go to work for 8 hours and then there's, the commute and everything. You're gone for, let's say, 60 to 80% of your day. So, with this being attached to work, what you're going to do is look for the experiences that make you feel good and kind of note them in your mind. And then when you get home, write them down because it's kind of like a double dose. You experience something like, let's say, James, this cool patient, pays you a compliment, and it was just a really sincere gesture. And it made you feel like, oh, wow, that was really nice. He wasn't hitting on me. He was just like really kind of nice and pleasant. So that makes you feel good, right? You're just like, wow, that was really nice. Later on, when you get home, you're going to write that down. I was grateful for when James paid me that compliment because it made me feel special. See, we do two things here. I'm grateful for blank because it made me feel blank. So if I ask you, what is your favorite color? Okay, everybody picture your favorite color right now. So you got it? Now I ask you, why is that your favorite color? And picture yourself like in a natural space with that favorite color. Like if it's red, you're going through those antelope canyons. If it's blue, you're out through like a turquoise sea out for a long walk on the beach. That you're actually feeling the emotion of your color, right? So when we write the stuff down at the end of the day, we're saying, not only did I experience that nice, pleasant thing during the day when James paid me that compliment, but now I'm experiencing it again at the end of the night. So it's like a 2-for-1 special. And then when you're listing off 10 of these things, what you're doing is you're training your reticular activating system to look for gratitude throughout your day. And you're going to discover it. You give that like just 5 days at work, you're going to see in 1 week, you're going to feel a lot better about your job, about the people you work with, the people you're helping, and about fulfilling some purpose while you go to work. So, but the only thing I recommend is to set yourself a little reminder in the morning. Put it on your phone or get a little post-it note and put it on your dashboard if you're commuting or if you got a locker there, and just write gratitude. Because with that, we'll give ourselves that goal. And then when we get home, you write it down. So get a little gratitude journal and just, I'm grateful for blank because it makes me feel blank. Really powerful practice there. So taking pride in your work. We forget the why uh, we show up to work and what we're doing, especially within a space like yours. Like you are healing people. You guys are literally saving lives. And I'm not trying to like boost your egos here. Like I was a consultant with the Perial days. People that have periodontal disease, just these ones, it is systemic. It goes into everything. So I can also talk about the mind and beliefs, but I know a lot about this. And people are on a very bad course to a very bad place because it's tethered to cancer and diabetes and strokes and tumors and all this really, really bad stuff. They'll come into your office and be healed with a session, a full mouth of the Periolabes, which is insane. You are transcending their life and happiness and livelihood and the length of their life by what you do. Not many people, I can't do this. I can't go home and be like, I saved people's lives today. There's not a lot of people that you go out and go run your errands that can say that. And I think that's incredible. But we lose sight of that when Karen walks through the door and gives us a hard time about a copay, right? We lose sight that we may be saving her life. And so taking pride in your work, showing up and realizing that giving health and wellness to people is one of the greatest gifts that you can do. And it's not just one person, it's your entire team, front office, back office, the doctors, the hygienists, the people who have to call and get the copays, the people who have to guarantee the insurance. Everything happens with this entire team coming up, and that is special, but we forget that. So a little practice here is to remind yourself, take a moment, you could write it out or just ruminate about this on your way to work or from work, is what are you doing here that is beautiful with your time at work? And I think you're going to start to see that there's been a lot of cases where you've helped people tremendously and really changed their life for the better. So another one that I love, what do you find? Everybody likes dog pics, right? So are you that grumpy dog when you come to work? Are you finding problems or are you finding solutions? So this is a big thing that everybody who runs a successful business will start seeing themselves doing eventually if they keep thriving. If you're only honing in on the problem and then just letting yourself getting really kind of entangled and wrestling that, you're not actually doing anything to improve the problem. Somebody may be a jerk. Some person may not show up on time. Somebody may be rude. That's the problem. But if we match that energy, that vibration, we become part of the problem. So instead of being emotionally triggered, and I'm going to give you guys the steps how to kind of basically center in when we experience a little bit of conflict, we can become the solution, but we have to give ourselves that goal. So how do we know when there's a problem at work? You're going to know by how you feel. So when you feel like, oh man, that patient really just got under my skin, man, you're off. You're off your line of peace and you're looking at the problem. So you're going to ask yourself, what can I do to improve this situation? What can I do to be a part of the solution in this experience? And it may just be, I need to go walk away and go outside and take a little micro break because I need to just kind of center, release that, purge the negative emotions, and then return to work. Because there's nothing I'm going to say or do with that person. Or it might actually be, I need to say something nice to them, try to uplift them, try to help encourage their day. So when you ask yourself, what would be the solution to this experience? What we've done is we've triggered our mind not to focus on the problem, but to focus on finding solution. Our mind likes finding solution. And what will happen is you'll start kind of considering, you'll start figuring out these things for yourself. They'll come to you. Okay? Any questions so far? All right. So another little story here about why we come to work. There's this really cool story about this old man, and he's walking down this old village path, and he sees this structure over to the left, and there's these two bricklayers, and they're working on this big structure, but they're bickering, and they're kind of taking their time. They're not being very, very efficient. And he walks up to them and he goes, "Excuse me, sorry for the interruption, but what are you guys doing right now?" And they're like, "What's it to you, old man? Mind your own business. We're bricklayers. We're working over here, okay? Go about your day." He's like, "Oh, sorry, pardon me." And he backs off and keeps on walking down that village pathway. And then he rounds a corner and he sees another man. And that man is working twice as efficiently as the other two guys combined. And he's got this just serene smirk on his face, and he's really working efficiently. And he's like, "Man, I'm going to go ask this guy what he's doing." He approaches that man and he goes, "Excuse me, sir, what are you doing?" The man stops, places down a brick, wipes off his hands, steps back from the structure, and he goes, "I'm building my temple." For me, that story could be told to me every morning, because when I have to go pay bills and go fold a load of laundry and go grocery shop and then deal with different people and different energies, sometimes I get off that I'm building something much bigger for myself here. You guys are showing up to work not just to be spending time with those people in that building. It's because you're building a life for yourself. And the life that you're building is wholly set on a lot of the time that you spend at work. And if you are disrupted, if your peace is down, if you're feeling angry and lack of purpose and frustrated and annoyed on a constant basis, this is part of your life. And you're stealing away your joy, the really big thing that you're building for yourself, for your family, your children, your loved one, your spouse, your partner. And you can change all that by realizing the value that you have with your time at work. It is a choice to be there. We forget that. We go, "Well, I have bills to pay." You can get another job. And your energy, when you show up there, I know Todd doesn't want me saying that exactly, but it is true. You choose to show up to work. You also choose your attitude. You choose your perspective, your mindset. And at the end of the day, you want to feel fulfilled. You want to feel like, yeah, that was a good day. It's adding value to my experience, to my life, to the bigger picture. So you can choose to have a brighter perspective here. And with these tools that I'm giving you, this is exactly how to do that. A lot of times when we get to work, we go, "Oh, I have to do blank, a blank, a blank, a blank." We do the sigh, groveling, we're growling. You don't have to do anything. You literally don't have to do anything. You can walk out that door now. You choose to be there. So what I like to do is I will tell myself, I get to do this stuff. Like if I have to go to the gym and I don't want to go to the gym, I don't go, "Oh, I have to go to the gym." I go, I get to go to the gym. There's a lot of people who can't go to the gym. I have the body, I have the finances to be able to afford the gym. I have the car to take me there. I have the workout routine. I have the trainer. With work, you have this awesome team. You guys are thriving in success. You have the patients coming in the door. You have the coworkers to help support you. When you start finding that you're kind of the victim of all the things you have to do at work, you're not going to feel very good about doing all that stuff. So change it in your mind and just ask yourself at the beginning of the day, what do I get to do today? I know it's like just a little psychological trick, but it works and it helps you feel really, really good about all the stuff that you have to do for that day. And you'll also just kind of start feeling less of stress and anxiety. A lot of people that I work with personally suffer from a tremendous amount of stress and anxiety because they have to do all this stuff and they don't. It's just a choice. So when you're at home and you get home after a long day of work and you go, "Now I have to go make dinner and I have to get the clothes ready and get the kids ready and do homework," that's stress, that's anxiety, because that's the way you're looking at it. But if you get home and go, "Gosh, now I get to be present at home. I get to make a meal with my family. I get to spend time with my children, even doing homework. I get to prepare them for the next day." Do you see how that shift elevates our mindset and our perspective so that we feel better about our experience? So, a little note there, get to versus have to. So, a lot of us can't help it, but we're bringing our work or our outside home life to work because why wouldn't we? We are the byproduct of that. So we sometimes carry that stuff in, and it's hard to like take that coat off of personal life before walking in. We have a lot of stress, anxiety, maybe an unhealthy environment somewhere else, loneliness, uncertainty, troubling relationships, unexpected expenses, a lot of bills and finances kind of wearing us down, depression and sadness, unhealthy habits and lifestyle. I remember going to work after my wife passed away. I took a little bit of bereavement time and I worked for that corporation before I left to go travel. And I put in like my 2 weeks. So I had to go like fulfill in just a few days. And I felt like a dead man walking. Like I felt soulless. I felt like a zombie going through the motions of the stuff. I was still doing the same job, but I didn't have any vigor, any lust because I brought everything in with me and embodied that. But we can check that at the door. Everybody is going through something. If I went around this room right now and asked, is anybody suffering from any of the things on that list? I guarantee everybody would hit on one point or something closely similar to that. But we don't think about that with another person. Now imagine if you're sitting across from one of your colleagues and you're just kind of annoyed with them and you're just a little bit short, you're upset and frustrated with them. But then you find out that they are having a lot of trouble with their relationship. What happens immediately? You're not annoyed with them anymore because compassion comes through. You go, oh my gosh, I've been in pain. I've had a troubling relationship. I can imagine what that's like for them. Right away, that frustration is just released and comes sympathy, compassion, empathy, understanding. So we don't need to know what the other person is suffering from on this list. We're not going to go take a checklist here and be like, all right, everybody fill this out. Pour your intimate suffering down on this page, and then we're going to share it with the group. We just need to know that they are suffering in some capacity. And that's what we forget when we're dealing with people. We expect them to be perfect. We expect them to be showing up and be giving their best and not giving them any grace, maybe for dealing with something outside of their work life personally. So when we keep that perspective and go, you know what? They're short, they're frustrated, they're angry, they're stressed out, they're anxious. They're not normally like that. That's weird. Should I come at and match that energy? Or maybe step back and realize that they're probably dealing with something that I don't know what it is, but I can be compassionate to the burden that they are carrying with them. And right then and there, that compassion, that kindness that you may, hey, I'm just checking in on you. Are you doing okay? Do you need anything? Can I help you with anything? Being overly kind may be exactly what they need to feel better about themselves, to like get a little bit of love, get a little support and guidance, because in their mind and in their heart, it's not a very beautiful place at the moment. And you can be the one to heal them just with your compassion. So, huge, really powerful tool and mindset here to bring into work is knowing that others suffer and we don't have to have it all figured out what they're suffering from. So centering before work. With that said, some of us are going through our own stuff. We have the relationship, we have the toxic relationship, we have the not so great bills stacking up, and we don't know what to do. But we have to come perform at work because we choose to. We get to come perform at work. So this is a really good thing. I did this little breathing exercises before this little Zoom call here, especially when I couldn't connect. And I was like, oh man. So what we're doing is we're kind of getting rid of the anxiety. It is a really powerful process here because we're kind of purging all the negative stuff, all of our burden, and then we're centering in on peace and presence. And then from there, we're having an intention of going into work and arriving. So I don't know if you guys can see this. You may want to just take a screenshot of this or jot this down. But before you come into work, sitting in your car or in the bathroom there is you're inhaling and creating tension throughout the body. So you're actually taking a deep breath, but like clenching your fist and your arms. What that is doing is kind of like burning calories. You're burning off, incinerating any kind of like toxic emotion that is not helping you elevate your performance at work. Then you're holding that breath and that tension for 5 seconds, and then you release it through a double exhalation. It's a breathing exercise, and you're going to repeat that 3 to 5 times. You're going to feel like you're like one of those characters that just had a nice magical moment and then is smoking a cigarette. Like it is just this nice little release, okay? And then you're going to be centered in on that space and be like, all right, Now I'm off of that thing because my kids were a little jerk. Kids were jerks in the morning, or my partner was cruel to me, or there was traffic, and we're all frustrated before we go to work. You're going to feel like, all right, we're back on page one. We're good. Then mirror motivation. There's a psychologist who treated 10,000 patients doing all of this different stuff. And he said the number one thing that made an insane improvement was speaking to your reflection with words of encouragement and love. Remember that experiment with the Japanese scientists and the beakers of water and rice? We are always trying to be like, well, I have to do this. I have to do this. In order to be successful, I want this. I want this. I want that. We never really stop to celebrate who we are and embody authentic love and gratitude for what we've done and gone through to arrive where we're at. We ignore ourselves. And sometimes we're really, really hard on ourselves. Is anybody really, really hard on yourself, or cruel even? You idiot. Why would you do that? Why would you do this? Why would you say that? That negative emotion and that ignoring goes in and it deteriorates your well-being. We've seen that through the experiments. So what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves what we need, and from the best authentic source is ourselves. So you're going to look yourself in the mirror, and I know people are like, I feel like it feels silly to do that. You try it for the very first time, and I guarantee like 90% of you are going to start welling up with tears because you don't hear what you need to hear from anybody else, but you know exactly what you need to hear. And if you know exactly what you need to hear, you know exactly what to say to yourself. I'll look at myself in the mirror and I'll be like, dude, I'm proud of you. Really great job this week. There was a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations, but you did so good. And yeah, there's room for opportunity, but you're crushing it. I love you and I'm proud of you. Now let's have an epic, awesome, amazing day. And I'll say that to myself in the mirror. So I challenge you guys to try that. Hold your reflection for 10 seconds and just look in your eyes. It's probably going to be uncomfortable because you're so not used to doing this, to having that intimacy with yourself in that beautiful way. And then express pride, gratitude, and love for yourself, what you've done to be where you are and who you are, just as you are. So that's the second step. And the third is positive intention. Just kind of lay it out there. That intention is a goal for us. Okay, we're going to find solution. We're going to find appreciation at work. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to try to make everybody laugh as much as I possibly can. I'm going to use a lot of horrible dad jokes, but I don't care. They're bangers and they always win. And I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to dance a little bit. I'm going to make people's days wonderful. I'm going to treat my patients. I'm going to be really present. I'm not going to be trying to kick them out of there so I can get to the next one. I'm going to ask them how their day is going. I'm going to check in with all my colleagues, ask them how their weekend was. I want to be present. I want to be a bright, beautiful, radiant spirit when I go into work. And that's what I'm going to do. And you look at yourself in the mirror, you state out that intention, you take a deep breath, you open your car and you get to work. You're going to feel like you've won the lottery because you have this positive, beautiful emotion and vibration rippling through you, and you have an intention for your day. You feel good and challenged even. Instead of saying, I'm going to go in there and be like, great, now I got to deal with blank, blank, blank. You're actually setting the tone for the day, and you'll see the day will match that, especially when we're trying to find the gratitude throughout. So that is a really powerful little kind of performance in the morning that you'll do in the car. Also, it's not so easy when somebody's just kind of, you guys are probably familiar with that Karen. I'm sorry if anybody is named Karen here, but it's just the name that kind of came across the very grouchy, unsettling person, right? So sometimes they get right up in our face. And it's hard to be like, okay, Om Zen, we can't do that. We have to respond to this person. We have to kind of initiate an exchange here. So how do we do that without reacting, without blowing up and raging and trying to tear somebody's face off? Well, we're not going to react. We're going to respond with composure, confidence, calmness, and compassion. Easier said than done when somebody's sitting there and be like, you did a horrible job. You flossed too hard and now I'm bleeding all over the place. When it's actually because they don't floss, that it's their problem, but they don't know that. And you can't say that to them, right? But they're getting all irate with you. What you're going to do is you're going to catch yourself about to react. Or a colleague says something right there. Hey, why are you late? And you're not late. You feel like you want to defend right away. You're going to feel that kind of eruption building, or it is erupting of rah. You kind of want to lash out and defend yourself. Just notice that and try to catch it, almost like it's on a leash, right? And your dog, you're walking your dog, and your dog sees the squirrel. You got to be like, whoa, okay, ahead of time, being proactive. So you're going to feel that and then begin counting backwards from 5. This is a really powerful technique. You're going to seem like you're the office Buddha, and it's going to be people are like, hey, how do you do that? That's so cool. And just count backwards from 5 in your mind. Make them wait. It doesn't matter because they deserve your best self. They don't deserve the reaction here. And then we're matching their energy. After you count backwards, this question is going to be said to yourself. How can the best version of myself respond to this situation? We're doing 2 things. We're getting off of them and their negative toxic energy and not being like, rah. We're getting away from having to defend ourselves, and we're giving ourselves an intention of showing up even better than what you are right now. How can the best version of myself respond? Responding is a choice. Reacting is instinctive. It's from the ego, lashing out. Then the answer in that space will come to you. It may be walk away. It may be smile. It may be check in on them. Hey, are you okay? You're coming at me with a lot of aggressive energy, and that's not typical. Is everything okay? Can I do anything to make your day better, to help you out? I'm not going to tell you the solution because I don't know it. What I will tell you that is in that space of not reacting, you create the possibility of that solution coming to you. But when we're completely lashing out and reacting, we're not opening ourselves to find a solution, to have that composure, confidence, calmness, and compassion. So it's going to take some time, but you work with patience, so you'll have a lot of opportunity to not kind of react through conflict, and you can try this out, but it's a really masterful space. Keep doing it. All right, self-care at work. So this is another thing. When we go to work, we're just like, all right, hit the ground running and just get everything done. I have to do this, this, that, and the other. Self-care time. So I have a 15-month-old, and my fiance and I, Susie, joke that like when we go to the bathroom, that's our self-care time because you have a little kid and it's running around and you're running a business and all this stuff. And we're just gonna go and meditate on the toity for 2 minutes, right? You had some nice self-care time. But at work, what are you doing to elevate your own mental and emotional well-being? Sometimes when we're looking at, did somebody have a question?
No, we're chuckling.
Okay. All right. So we don't usually do that. Sometimes we go to the bathroom to like get away from stuff because we need to go have some self-care time for our mental and emotional well-being, but do stuff that makes you feel good. Okay. When we're on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and we're looking at all the crap or the news and everything, and we're like, oh, we're getting triggered, we're getting angry, we're getting justified of finding fault in life. And especially at work, when you guys have such an important job, it's really important for you to feel good. So read a book, journal or guided meditation. Sometimes journaling, just getting pouring out those negative emotions and everything, it helps you center. Eating outside in nature, anything you can do at work to give yourself a little bit of an edge there is going to help. There was I worked at this place, it's like Cartier back in the day, but it's the Italian equivalent. It was called Bulgari in Chicago, and there would be this really nice park right outside of where we worked, and I'd have to dress up in like 3-piece suits, and because all these very wealthy people expected you to wipe their butts and give them this amazing service, and so you had to like really show up, right? And so go and deal with a lot of very, let's say, challenging personalities. And then during my break, I would go to this this beautiful park, but it's in the middle of Chicago. And so there'd be like homeless people just sitting everywhere. And I'm sitting in a three-piece suit, like meditating in the middle of this park, and there's a homeless person like laying right next to me. I didn't care. I needed that so that I could go back to work and perform and be what I wanted to be and not what those people were turning me into in a sense. So whatever you can do at work, going to your car and meditating, just doing some breathing exercises to the center, it will play huge and it will become routine the more you do it. Okay. Expressing gratitude. This is just easy. This is a doesn't take a lot of explanation here, but why are you grateful for the different people you work with? Why are you grateful for your patients showing up? Why are you grateful for the front office staff? Why are you grateful for the back office? Why are the hygienists grateful for the doctors and vice versa? And the doctor should be really, really grateful for the hygienist, right? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. They're doing all the work. But do we express that gratitude on a regular basis? Do we tell each other, hey, I'm grateful for you? Thank you for doing that. Thank you for getting me this. Thank you for saying that. Thanks for stepping in with that patient. We just kind of expect, but it feels good to have somebody tell you, hey, I'm appreciative of what you did. That helps us. So make that a goal for yourself of telling the patients, your colleagues, yourself, and even your bosses, Todd and Adam over there, that you're grateful for them because it just creates an energy in your ecosystem there of abundance. It's a higher elevation. It's a more pleasant experience. And when you leave work, you're going to feel it. And when you show up to work, you're treating this kind of like as that awesome professional sanctuary. But expressing that gratitude is you just pouring out that emotion in the workplace. Okay. Centering after work. Sometimes when we get after we're just like melting, right? You feel like jello in your car and you're like, please just teleport me to my couch, right? You just, holy cow, that day crushed me. So we need to kind of revitalize ourselves, to go home and to be present with ourselves in this new space of not being at work. So cyclic sign, there was a study done on all these different breathing techniques. And this one was stated to be more powerful than 15 minutes of meditation. And it only takes 5 minutes. So if your commute is 5 minutes, you can do it just on the way home. You're inhaling with through your nostrils and then going deeper and then just sighing. Most of us sigh like 1,000 times at work. So we're just incorporating it with that breathing technique. And you're going to see that it's kind of cleansing your body and recentering there. And as you go to work or drive home from work, you can listen to some pleasant music and just concentrate on doing that. All it takes is 5 minutes. And also celebrate the day. Congratulate yourself on a day that was well spent. A lot of times we're so happy to be out of work, like we're treating ourselves that we are the victim of going into work. And so that doesn't help us with the positive emotion that is flowing through us and our time, especially showing up to work the next day. So just say, hey, man, you had a lot of challenges today. Good job navigating all those and remaining peaceful. Yeah, you kind of, mixed up and stumbled with that one patient, but hey, tomorrow we'll try to be even better. And then express the gratitude. I'm grateful for going to work, for having a paycheck, for having these patients come in, for having like an abundance of support through my team members. List off the gratitude of why you're grateful for your job. You're going to feel a lot better. And when you walk into your home, you're not going to be carrying the experiences of work. You're going to be the best version of yourself, and your family, your children, your spouse, your cat, your dog, your hamster, they deserve that. They deserve the best version of you. So give them that because it's just going to create a really beautiful experience for yourself as well. So, midnight reminder. This for me is just powerful because we think life is eternal. We don't really think that maybe one day, sooner than later, we're going to transition to the afterlife. We're going to die. I sat there with a 33-year-old woman and I held her hand in a hospital bed. And we owned a health and wellness business. She was thriving in health and wellness. And one moment, my entire life was before me with this woman, just sitting there waiting, all of this possibility and opportunity, becoming a father, buying a home, raising children, all this stuff. And then I had to let her go. And in the very next moment, she wasn't breathing. And so much of my identity died along with her. I was no longer a husband. I was no longer a best friend, a lover, a business partner. All of this stuff perished. It can happen that quickly. We don't think of that. So remind yourself in the morning that maybe there's a chance this may be my last day. A lot of people be like, that's morbid. It's not. It's actually liberating. Because if we tell ourselves, how do I want to feel today? And I have to show up to work. I have to go fold laundry. I have to go prep meals. But how do I want to feel doing all that? You're going to tell yourself, I want to feel good. And I want to tell the people who are the most important to me that I love them and that I'm grateful for them. And I want to feel good about the day. And you're going to go about your day, and that will be an active intention. And it will free you of a lot of the BS that we find ourselves getting triggered by, the anxieties, the stresses, the frustration, the grief, the fault. We're going to just be like, I don't have time for that crap. I need to center here and make the most of my day. And it's true. We all know somebody, every one of you, that we just heard, oh my God, they passed away. What do you mean? I was just with them. I just talked to them. I just saw them on Facebook. They got in a car accident. What? Oh my gosh. That is a glowing reminder that life is short. And so if we have this opportunity to show up every single day and make the most of our day, we don't want to waste it. If I gave each of you $50 million and said, here's $50 million, but you only have one day to spend it, or you can turn it down entirely and just go about your day as you would you take the $50 million and die after 24 hours or continue living your life? It's not about money. It's about purpose and fulfillment and passion and love and compassion. So we can remind ourselves to embody that every single day and to be grateful. Every day you wake up is a whole new day that some other people will never know. And you get to. So how do you want to feel today? So just our midnight reminder of how you're going to ask yourself and give yourself that goal. Okay. And I gave you a lot of the tools for doing exactly that. So you just have to plug and play, because our minds, they don't want to find all the gratitude and the appreciation. We don't want to think about dying. We want to find the fault. But you can retrain your mind to find the beauty in life and appreciation, and you will feel beautiful and appreciative because that's what you're looking for. Okay. So more things here just to help you guys, keep these reminders everywhere with this. And you're just going to find the gratitude, little post-it notes, set reminders in your phone, talk to people, work with a coach or a mentor like myself, journal, meditate. There's a lot of stuff that you can do outside of work to help elevate your mental and emotional health at work, because we're all dealing with stuff, right? Well, all of these things here make insane improvements on your well-being. And then when you're showing up to work, you're really, really happy to be there. So I'm sure people are kind of familiar with some of this stuff, but if you're doing a lot of this stuff actively and it becomes your lifestyle, you're living a very abundant life. Any questions? Now's the time. Don't be shy. Come on, anybody? I know it's tough because this is personal stuff. So, with that said, I also do personal one-on-one coaching, group coaching, starting a whole new session. If you guys are interested at another time, it'll be in May or June. But I have a free membership that teaches you how to train your mind. So, everything online, if you are interested, I can give you YouTube channels, all that kind of stuff. I also wrote this book, Dreams of Antiquity. It was assigned to me by my late wife after she passed away. Totally weird experience to write a book. And I wrote a whole novel, traveling the world for many years. It's going to be a series. So that's available too. But just more of something if you want some beautiful, emotional kind of roller coaster of a ride. But if you want to work with me one on one, I have that opportunity, and it's for free, or you could do a private mentorship. But there are resources out there to help you, because again, a lot of us are dealing with our own stuff and we can't rightfully talk about it right now. But there are resources out there to help you elevate. Just like I discovered for myself to kind of free myself of my grief and my anguish and my hurt, you can do it too. You just have to take that first step. So just want to thank you guys, everyone, for your time today. I hope this was fruitful for you. I hope that you're going to have the best day ever with work, at least till you clock out. And then tomorrow, I really hope the rest of the week and through May to make it your challenge to set yourself this intention to really just have a fulfilling time at work. And now with what we've equipped with you with, I think you're going to be able to be very, very successful. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time and allowing me to speak a little bit. So thank you, Todd. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
All right, wishing you guys a good day. Todd, I'll shoot you a text later on. Jody, thank you for orchestrating all this and everybody for trying to help get us managed. You guys have a beautiful day.